1 second. Okay. Okay, I should now be live on YouTube. I should be live on Telegram, and I should be live on Divergent. So good morning. It's Tuesday. It's the 14th of January, and my name is Tom HOUGAARD, and I will be your pilot for the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour. Who knows? I think I'm live. I think all is well. So let's get started. First of all, I like to just draw your attention to my balance. It is now 12,000. I was a little naughty last night. I sat and I traded, and so you'll remember that my balance yesterday was, 1 second, I posted this in Telegram, and so you'll see that my balance was, oh, how do I do that? Here we go, was 11,000. So what happened and what am I going to do about it? So I traded, and obviously traded very well. I was, if you're interested, I can show you, but I was looking at the NASDAQ on a 15-minute chart, and I think I'll zoom in. And you see this point here, right here, where we have a low at 20,685, and then we went below. I bought down there, below that low, and my target was making new highs. Of course, after the fact, you say, why didn't you just stay long? But hey, that's day trading for you. That's a little bit unfair because I said that I was going to trade everything live. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to withdraw the balance that I made so that I get back down to the balance that I had as of last night, which was be 11,000, 11,100, 11,200, thereabouts. Just so that there's no confusion. So I will withdraw about £1,000. Okay, so now when that is said and done, so that no one is feeling left out, let's just very quickly take a look at what's going on. Very early, we got a first bar positive in the Footsie. That means that I want to be a seller below. We'll see how that fares. Excuse me. And then here in the DAX, we got a spike higher right off the lows. Today, we got the numbers coming out of America. These are inflation numbers. They tend to be important to the market. I'm not sure if that pertains so much to stock indices, and it's more to currencies. So I'm just gonna trade as if all is well. Just gonna check that there's no messages on Telegram. So we got inflation numbers out today and tomorrow, and just want to look at the Footsie. So if I was to sell short the Footsie here below 8217, it would be a fairly sizable stop loss. That should be 10. And that should be 4, depending. But I will keep an eye on it, and then I'll make a decision what to do. Just want to look at the 30-minute chart in the Footsie. I'm probably just going to be a little careful not to get carried away on the short side. So this is a 30-minute chart. I brought along some slides that I want to discuss with you today. So let's I wouldn't say that I was expecting the market to push higher, but I am mindful that the US futures are positive. But I'm also mindful of what my research tells me to do. So I think what I'll do is I want to see how the Footsie trades below 8217.7. And if we do trade below it and it triggers a first bar positive sell short, so when the first bar is positive, it demands me that I sell short if we trade below it. I might just see if I can get a better price than 17. It hasn't traded down there just yet. But it looks like we are going to do now. I brought along some slides for today, and so I'll be looking at the charts on my other screens while I take you through these, because I would like to do a review. So it's always a little bit of multitasking. This is early doors, and this is where the moves are, and you sort of try and juggle that with the education. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is that this week, what I intend to do is to take every single trade, even if I scale down my size. So yesterday, this is the second 15-minute chart in the DAX, and I sold short at 20,000 or below 20,099. I think my fill was 91. And I actually had a stop loss all the way up here. I did that because I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of leeway in what I thought was a very bearish day. At its best, my position was about 70 points in profit. And eventually I stopped myself out. I had a position that we were running from Friday night, and as you can see, school run actually worked really, really well. If we take a look at brunch break, then we count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So brunch break actually gave a false break, long here and short here. So brunch break wouldn't have worked yesterday, but I didn't take it because I was already short the Footsie, sorry, the DAX. So there was no point in triggering brunch break, which is here. I'd like to take you through some other things that were worth noticing. I thought it was interesting that if you measured the swing high to the swing low at the time, that retracement that we made first thing in the morning was 38%. And that's something I would love you to keep an eye on, because whenever you do have strong markets, strong trending markets, the retracements, the first retracement tends to gravitate towards this number. That doesn't make me a Fibonacci fan in everything, but I do have come to value that as a guide to what I want to do. And it's really easy if you sort of pre-program your, if you see my if you see my my Fibonacci, I've simply programmed it to just have one ratio, and that's all. I don't have anything else that I'm looking at. So it's not like I'm splitting it up into 50%, 61.8, 78.6, 23.6, and you name it, even 88.6, because if I were being really cynical, you got more ratios than you can throw a stick at. So there's practically a ratio for every for every scenario, which means that you actually you've already had a bias or you want to do, and now you're just seeking refuge in a sacred ratio. That's not how I believe that Fibonacci or indeed anything should be used. It should be used logically. But there was a few other things I wanted to highlight to you. Okay, so unfortunately, we're probably just going to have to stop this transmission here, because so you'll see now that the Footsie has triggered a sell signal. And so the problem that I have right now, and this is just based on the experience, is that I actually got a DAX charging higher. And whenever you see the DAX charging higher, it's difficult for the Footsie to actually fall. I promised myself I would take every single trade. So just for laughs, I'm just going to do this in a pounder point just for reference point. And I won't even post it in Telegram. It's just so for reference point. And then if I do get a better price, I'll actually do, the unspoken rule, and I'll actually add. So call this more like a teaser position, more than anything else. because I have a hard time actually selling short the Footsie when the DAX is moving higher. And I would perhaps, if I didn't know about first bar positive and first bar negative, I would probably see this as an opportunity to be a buyer below the range. But I think it's a fun exercise to do what I call a teaser position. It's actually something that another trader taught me. He says when he has an inclination of something, he will do a 1/10 of his normal size, and he's basically sort of just, that's like his bait or his reference mark. So it's not that I'm putting on this position because I completely lost my balls and I don't want to trade any bigger size. It's just, okay, I promised myself I would take every position, because I think there's something very therapeutic and educational in saying, I'm just going to take the trades no matter what I think. Because it sort of boils down to something that I spoke about in Frankfurt, in Athens, and in Rome, and that is, can you trust your own instinct? Can you trust your own gut? And my gut feel here is, no, I shouldn't be short this market. But let me have a very tiny position and actually prove that to myself, so I have something tangible as a reference point, because otherwise this is just going to be forgotten. But if I have a loss, say I lost 15 points on it, or 15 pounds, it's not like it's going to make or break my bank balance, but at least I had something that's okay, that's my reference point. And then maybe I will actually find a better entry point if I do believe in the short side. I think that's one of the, and I think now we're probably getting drawn into some kind of philosophical discussion between discretionary trading and mechanical trading. But definitely one of the advantages of discretionary trading is that you can take calls like, I'm going to be a buyer below prior bar low. Whilst mechanical trading saying, we broke below the low, you got to be short. And to balance two basically opposing viewpoints is difficult for our little human brain. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's when you hold two beliefs about the same matter, the same subject. But if I have a tiny bit of a reference point, I'm going, okay, this is what it would look like. Let me just put a stop loss in. Oh, the stop loss is already there. Excellent. So we can just keep an eye on this. And if we think that the Footsie is a better sell short, maybe up here around 26, well then we can put on a short position of meaningful size. And if the Footsie actually goes significantly in my favor, then maybe the lesson here is trust your research and not your gut. I would really like to just take you through some perspectives. So here's the school run. This is the DAX again on a 15-minute chart. But what I would very much like to show you is that, bearing in mind that this is a 15-minute chart, so this trading range you are seeing here of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars is basically 2 hours of sideways trading. And then this bar here breaks below. And this bar here actually should have been the one that took the DAX a lot further down. But it didn't. Instead, the very next bar sees 2 bull bars. And what that red arrow you see there is pointing out is that this is a crucial point in my book, because this, if we close above this price level here, if we close above a bar that has broken down and has failed to, shall we say, entice any more sellers, and that's exactly what we do here, we close above, that's a really dangerous signal for the bears. It's a real alert saying maybe you shouldn't be short here. Then what I think is very interesting is that you see that this bar here that I have labeled as a high of 83, you see how practically apart from the first bar in the morning, you see that practically every bar, this bar, this bar, this bar, has been overlapped by a subsequent bar. So this bar here, overlapped by this bar here, this bar down, overlapped by this bar up. But this bar here is not overlapped. In fact, you got this gap here. Al Brooks talks about that. Other people talk about it. I believe Michael, what's the fuck his name? Michael Huddleston from ICT. He talks about this being a fair value gap. But what's interesting is if you really begin to study how price evolves. I was once at a talk with a guy called John Piper. This is back in 2001, and he was saying that there is this mechanism in the market, whether it's the exchange itself, that if you got these moves here where there's no overlap, that's not terribly efficient price action, and they will often be filled. You can see that even this one here was filled. And it's a really interesting point because you'll notice that the high here of the bar before we see the breakout gets completely reversed with a slight overlap from 83 to 72. And then it's almost as if the market is free to move higher. An interesting perspective on price action, and something that I think that is worth bearing in mind. But there's more to I feel like one of those salesmen. Do you remember those adverts that there was a product there was a product back in the 90s called Astonish, and Astonish was basically a cleaning polish. And then whenever you saw these adverts, I wasn't watching it because I in any shape or form was being domesticated and I wanted to buy Astonish, but they were just a work of art. So if you buy Astonish, you'll get this extra polish cloth, but wait, there's more. And then you also get this brush, but wait, there's more. And it's like this, like, okay, wow, I feel so enticed to actually buy this because they were throwing so much value in. Just cast your look over at the Footsie, which is actually continuing to move lower, as is the DAX. Okay, so talking about the DAX, let's just go through this. What I want to show you is also the importance of keeping an eye on the 15-minute chart that the market closes above a prior bar. So if you have had a downtrend and the market then actually closes above the high of a low bar, what you're seeing here, that tends to actually mean that there'll be follow through. That's a great tool for scalpers to be aware of. What you're seeing here is you're seeing a market actually fishing for the stops above this high here. But the moment we have a high bar that gets closed below, that's what we're doing here, right here. In my book, that's a sell short signal. I call this the fishing technique. I wish I could draw a fish, but it's going to be something like, maybe that's a shark. I don't know. Maybe we'll give him a little, stop embarrassing yourself. That's a fish. Okay. As you can see, I didn't get good grades for drawing in school. But that's a fishing technique. And then you see, for example, down here, you have another one. You close above the high of a low bar. Yeah? Okay. God, I feel like I'm a motor mouth this morning. So I hope that I can entice you to at least consider not just looking at a 5-minute chart, but also consider the 15-minute chart, because it gives more reliable signals, and that was the reason why I was so confident to buy the DAX last night. And then over to the Footsie, we had a first bar negative. And funnily enough, I was really opposed to taking this first bar negative yesterday. And I got stopped out there. I had moved my stop loss from here up to there to try but actually first bar negative, shame on me, did actually produce a 10-point profit, which would have amply allowed me to put my stop loss at break even. But I want to finish off by something that I think is really quite interesting and something that I haven't spoken about publicly before. I want to show you this chart that you're seeing here. So yesterday you'll see that I shorted the Footsie at 8236. And you might be thinking, oh yeah, he probably just sold short a double top. The reality is that that's only half the story. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, would you mind just holding on for a few minutes? I exercised quite heavily this morning, and I drank a lot of water. And I'm afraid to say that nature calls. Can you just bear with me for a few minutes? Sorry about that. I know this is highly unprofessional. I should have done this before, but I'm actually bursting. So one sec. Let's get back to it. So there's more to this story, and it's something that I'd like to draw your attention to. Yes, I sold short here at 36. Is that better? Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you for the alert. All of a sudden, I saw this flood of messages coming in. So, yeah, we are back. So, what my software allows me to do, if it allows me to just double click here. It used to, at least. There we go. It's over there. So now my order should be in. Let's just have a look. Okay, why didn't it do the... Took the short order. Why didn't it take the long order? Let's do that again. There we go. I think I clicked the wrong place. There we go. So I got a short order in and a long order in. So I can get back to the education. I'm currently 1 point offside on the Footsie, which is a good reference point. So let's get back to this little lesson here, which hopefully you can see, which you should according to OBS. Is what I think is an interesting piece of technical analysis is if you study the length of bars in general. If you study the length of this bar here, this bar here, this bar here, this bar here, they're pretty much the same length. Now this bar here is obviously an immensely big bar. But the reason why I sold short was because, first of all, I paid attention to the first 30-minute bar here, which spans from 8216 up to 8229. So if you see here 8229 minus 8216, that's 13 points. What I did then was I added 8225 to 13. That gave me a target of 8228, 8238, as I think this candle here is going to go up to 38. Now it went to 37 to be exact, and that's why I, with a high degree of confidence, shorted it at 36. So it wasn't just because it was a double top, it was also because I felt at the very least I'm going to get a retracement of about 13 points. Now, I couldn't say 13 points, but I felt that there was a really good chance that this market would retrace because it has just reached sort of the limit of what an average 30-minute bar looks like. I don't know if this makes any sense. Maybe I need to explain this at another time, but it sort of makes sense to me to follow the length of the bars, because they tend to, you get impulses obviously, but otherwise they tend to stay the same. Maybe it's just my eyes that spots this, but it makes sense to me. You could have just say, okay, it's a double top, fine. But to me, adding this dimension allows me to perhaps place even better short orders. So when the Footsie was trading at 29, I put my order in to sell short at 36. I did that as an order, and then the market went 30, 31, 32, 33, and then filled, and I think the most it went against me was half a point. I did take profit here in the channel relatively quick because I wanted to finish, but you shouldn't let that detract. Okay, I think that's the lesson for this morning. So let's get back to trading. Here's a 15-minute chart of the Footsie and a 15-minute chart of the DAX. I have a short order in. As you can see, we have a relatively big gap up in the DAX. So I'm short the DAX on a school run. It's gonna have to move the stop loss. So that's the status. We've got a sort of a probing position in the Footsie short bar, first bar positive, sell short, and now we got a short in the DAX on a school run. And again, I'll be really upfront and say, this is the kind of bar that from a technical point of view, I would prefer to be a buyer below prior bar low on a 15-minute bar when the first bar is really positive, because I think that's where buyers are stepping in, because that's what they tend to do. So it's difficult at times to follow a mechanical trading approach. While we're waiting, we never do this, but I do quite a lot of research in this. I want to show you whether it works today or not. Don't know. So here's the CAC. There's the CAC 40. The CAC 40 is also school run short there. And the Spanish index, let's have a look. Spanish index is not doing anything. Let's try Eurostock, just for laughs. What's the spread in Eurostock? 0.6 and 2 in the future. Looks like Eurostock has also given a sell signal, depending on the offset. So just being really upfront about this, but you will notice the inherent disadvantage of a school run approach. It's not so often that the school run just immediately goes. Although, having said that, there was a couple of examples last week on the bullish side. because you frequently see traders coming in and buy below prior bar low. That doesn't mean that the strategy doesn't hold up statistically, but it does mean, especially when you have a gap up, that the efficacy of it might not be as you could desire. The Footsie, well, as you can see, our little probing position is actually 6 points offside, and it's sort of the same theme, buying below prior bar low. On the daily chart in the Nasdaq, you definitely got an identifiable low, and we took out that low. And if we close above 20,867 in the Nasdaq today, that actually sets in motion a move up to 21,700. That could be a good swing trade. Footsie is moving higher. Well, this DAX is just sort of teasing. May have to be patient here. Just keeping an eye on the CAC. So if we look at the Footsie from this overlap point of view, you can see that the first bar here had no overlap, but then the next bar made sure that we overlapped. We had them pushed down, and now an overlap, and we're just gone above prior bar high. So I would be much more comfortable actually selling short the Footsie here than I was on the actual first bar positive break. But let's see if we can be smarter about this. So we got two positions going. Actually, we don't have two positions going. We got one proper position going and one, I don't know what we call this. And here's a 30-minute chart of the Footsie, which clearly suggests we are in a trading range. And if we are in a trading range, then we're headed back up to 8235. So maybe it will make much more sense to buy a Footsie long position here. I'm currently 10 points offside in the DAX on a school run. But I promised myself I would take every single one of them. So what it means to take every single one of them would also be to flip the switch and go long up here. Yes, it would. So, okay, so Turtle Trader is saying, instead of deducting profits from trades outside of live hours, why don't you just drop the entry, stop loss, take profit, pound per point in Telegram in real time? You're asking for people to doubt you if they keep waking up to 110% gains and you just scan over a 50-minute chart. You said you bought there. I don't understand. I was very clear that I was going to. Oh my God! You're asking people to doubt me. Why would you doubt me? Do you want to see the trade? It's right here in the transaction history. There you go. I gotta tell you, after yesterday, I'm at times wondering what makes people write what they write. You just go, okay, don't understand. Why would you doubt? This is a real trading account. And I was being very open and candid about, yeah, I traded last night. And I will remove that gain so that everything that is reflected on this account is only the result of what I traded during the very limited hours that I am here. It just sometimes, man, say with the greatest respect, but there are some Fruit Loops around. Yeah, I think he's saying that because at the start of the year you said trades not on YouTube would be on your main account. Yeah, so no, I give up. Just don't engage. Best policy, don't engage. Someone has actually said to me, oh boy, you're in for it now. How dare you trade without telling everybody? It's like, yeah, that's how dare I? Just answering some decent questions. Philip is saying, if you receive 500 comments a day, that would be a slow day if I only received 500 comments. You know that? How many of them are inappropriate? Yeah, true. I'd say there was about 10 of them where you think, all right, not sure what planet you're on. But so interesting in the DAX because I made it very clear the difference between being a discretionary trader and a mechanical trader. And the discretionary trader and me would want to be a buyer below a prior bar low when you have a strong uptrend. But whilst the mechanical trader in me saying, okay, yeah, you know, you want to sell short here, and as you can see, I am 26 points offside. Not making any excuses. I'm just pointing out, yeah, absolutely. This is the curse of mechanical trading. My stop loss is at 86, so we're currently trading at 80, and I actually got an order at 84. Would you believe it? So a bit odd to have the stop loss a bit higher than the entry order, but it is what it is, and so we'll just leave it at that. I think the Footsie is finally giving me that retracement that I was hoping for. Let's see if I can find a decent entry long in the Footsie. I'm buying the Footsie here at 24. There we go. I think the structure, the price action structure would suggest that we're headed back up to 8236. And here's the DAX. Just pulled back a little bit, but there's a 5-minute chart of the DAX. But would surprise me if we wouldn't see a push higher. The daily chart in the DAX with this long candle here, I wonder if we don't have to go and do some back and fill for this long candle here. But both the daily and the weekly chart in the DAX is bullish. I currently have a stop loss at 82.14 in the Footsie, but the reality is that the stop could probably be moved to 82.18, 82.19. DAX is losing me. So here's status of what's going on. So what we're trying to do is to just take one trade after the other and not try and overthink it. The reason for the long position in the Footsie was because of how the market reacted to this low here. We pushed higher. I think it's too soon to move stop loss to break even. But first bar, positive. so far has not yielded anything. Actually saying that, if I showed it at 8260, the best I got would have been 6 points minus the spread, minus the offset. So probably would have 3 points in profit at the very best. The DAX so far is not able to push through the highs. If we look at a 15-minute chart, what you could do is you can just try and put a fit level on the existing bar that comes in right here. I wonder if buyers will come in and support it here. I haven't tried this, but I want to try it. A fib ratio from 38 from the low to where we are now. And that's what it's touching now. I wouldn't mind if they didn't come and support it because I'm short. So here's status of what the account is looking like. I'd like to add to my position in the Footsie. So what I want to do is I want to move the stop loss up a bit. So in order to do that, I'll change the time frame on the chart so you can see that better. So let's do it on a 15-minute chart, and want to move the stop loss up to about 1718. So the DAX was unable to push above the highs, for now at least, while the Footsie is, well, it's doing what I wanted to do, and the target is about 37, and I'd like to add to it, not in full size, but maybe just add, well, just so you can see for yourself the art of adding. We could just add 1. So there you go. We've added 1 pounder point. You don't have to add on a 1-to-1 ratio. You can just add a little bit, especially if you want to practice the art of adding to a winning trade. That's where the new softwares close all and close half is really handy. So the high yesterday was 36 intraday, and that's gonna be a target to play for. Just taking a look at the Spanish index. By the way, did you know that you can use the school run on the Australian and the Nikkei? I want to show you. I believe it's Hang on, I gotta make sure that I'm. I think Sydney opens here. Are there any Aussies in the room, please? Anybody from Australia? Hey, Jake and Jordan. How you doing? Hi, Josh. Okay, can you help me with this chart here? Do you see here? My time is my piece is always set for UK time. Which one of these bars is the open in Sydney? Can you help me? See, I'm thinking it's right now the time in Sydney is 8, so I think it opens at 2300 for you. Okay, fine. So is this the actual open? Okay. All right, so that means school run would be long here and short here. All right, so I just want to make sure that I got this right for the guys and girls in Australia. So let's just. So am I right in saying Josh, Joe, and Jordan? It's a lot of J's. No offense. It's this bar here that is the second. This one here, is that the second? Okay. Thanks. Okay, so there's school run long in the Aussie index, and here's school run short. Thank you. Do you guys from Australia trade this? Just out of curiosity, but do you trade school run? Because it sure as shit does look like it's working. There's a long signal here in the Aussie, here, right there. Long above 8215, it went as high as 8231. And then on the short side, if you want to flip the switch. Oh my God, have you seen the school run short a few days ago? Okay, I don't want to embarrass myself, but that's a beauty. Excuse me. Get ready to take profit in the Footsie. I want to show you how the software works. Close half position. There you go. It's just reduced it to half. Close half the other. See? It's pretty smart, isn't it? And then close all if I want to. Voila. Yeah, I want to do some ASX research. I don't know, Snoop, if it works consistently. So close the Footsie. Excuse me. It was very cold this morning. Very, very cold. Still short the DAX, and it's not behaving. Crikey, that's a beauty. Crikey, she's a beauty. Do you remember him, Steve Irwin? Oh man, he was just like, wow. I remember one episode, he's like, I am face to face with the deadliest snake in the world. Crikey. He was literally touching it with his face. Yeah, I'm sure the film crew had anti-venom ready. Okay, the DAX is the one that is making us wait. The Spanish index is doing very little. I just want to look at a few. Here's one that's probably not going to work in the Australian index. So here we go. Market opens. Actually works pretty well. Okay, stop going up now, Footsie. You're making me embarrassed that I got out. I was kind of just demonstrating the software and wanted to show you what it's like to take half profit on the software, because I'm really pleased with it. Such a unique kit. So that made, what did the Footsie make? £100. Well, yeah, I took full profit. No, I didn't take full profit in the Footsie to counter the, as I said, the target in the Footsie was 36, and I just started clicking. What was my exit? 35? 34.6 and 34. No, I didn't take profit in the Footsie to counter a potential loss in the DAX. I took profit because the target in the Footsie was up here. I must say though, there's a lot of cynical voices in the world. It's like you I feel like I cannot make this any more transparent than it is. It's literally a live account. There is absolutely not a chance in hell that this yeah. Anyway, it's okay. What's the saying? Don't kill them with kindness, kill them with success. Just keep doing what you're doing. This is live. Thank you for the feedback you gave me yesterday about the behaviors before goals. It's a chapter that I'm writing. I'm really quite excited about the chapter because I think it is a misunderstood concept. We think, oh yeah, you must have goals. Goal setting is really paramount. But to me, goal setting induces a dopamine reaction that I want to avoid. I want to create the behaviors. Of course, I need to know where I'm headed or what I want to do. But one of the biggest anticlimaxes is to reach your goal. So for example, a long time ago, I had plastered on my bedside table when I lived in London, I want to be a millionaire. And like every morning and every night I would see that, okay, I want to make at least £1 million. But then when you make £1 million, you go, all right, then what? Well, what's next? What are you going to do now? That's when it came to me. Focus on your behaviors instead. It's the behaviors that is going to make you happy. You know what? I think I'm going to pause here. I'm even tempted to close my Footsie and just call it a morning, just because it's, my God, it's a sort of sticking in the middle and doesn't really know what it wants to do. There's no real direction. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm closing my DAX. Just even the score. I'm going to close the DAX. Done for the morning. It's a bit unconventional, but I don't see the... you know what? I could see this market go up. I'm going to delete my order as well, by the way. I can see this market move higher. I can see this market move lower, but there's certainly no real clear evidence what it wants to do. So I just feel like I'm burning my time, which could be spent on something else. So that's me done. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed it. Status, I think, is plus £50 today, huh? 100, yeah, £60. All right, 0.6%, better than a kick in the butt, I would say. Thank you for putting up with me having to have a pee break this morning, and thank you for all your wonderful questions and your skepticism, and what else that I have received this morning. As always, it's wonderful to be here, and I look forward to trading with you live this afternoon from the US session. Stay strong, take care of yourself, and don't be such a disbeliever. Just trust the process. It'll be okay. Bye for now.